Okay, at this time, we will hear from the public with comments in favor of the development.
At the beginning, Your Honor, if may, there were several written documents that were included in your packets, part of the public record, and there was a couple pages of signed documents that were given to the city clerk just before the meeting, so those have also been distributed for your review as well.
Yep. And the others being incorporated into the packet are also now part of the record.
Yes.
Right. Okay. No public testimony in favor of. We move on now to public testimony in opposition. As always, name and address, and please, 3 minutes.
That's going to be challenging. My name is Brian Morton, 1021 Sloniker Drive. I'm here to speak strongly in favor of Bill Voxman's alternative proposal for the Picabu subdivision. Unfortunately, Bill could not be present tonight himself. I believe the council members all have a copy of Bill's proposal regarding the proposed subdivision. I would like to highlight some of the key issues from Bill's letter. Unfortunately, what was not taken into account by the P&Z is the unique character of this area. And it was also disheartening that no mention was made of other criteria found in the city's comprehensive plan that address the need for consideration of environmental, cultural, and heritage factors. The land in question encompasses the South Fork of Paradise Creek, the lower portion of which is for much of the year essentially a wetland zone. The area has long served as a remarkable natural habitat for all manner of birds and other wildlife. To the extent possible, such open areas should be retained as an essential part of the fabric of our community that reflects the special characteristics of this region. We believe that infill development can and should be supported in this case, while simultaneously maintaining the basic features of this valuable and unique open space and waterway system. In that regard, and in the spirit of finding a compromise, I would like to offer the following proposal for consideration by the P&Z and the City Council together with the property developers and their engineers. I believe this proposal is in accordance with the P&Z thinking and importantly addresses many of the concerns expressed at the recent hearing by those who live in close proximity to the proposed subdivision. The essence of this proposal is to replace Landy Lane as a through street between Sloniker Drive and Orchard Avenue and substitute it for a cul-de-sac, one at each end of that proposed street. This will continue to allow a significant number of residences to be built on both upper sides of the swale while leaving undisturbed the flow of the South Fork and a buffer area along the creek. The advantages of such a proposed alternative are: 1, the total number of residences may be reduced slightly. This proposal will increase the value of those that are constructed and is in keeping with the density of the Sloniker neighborhood and larger residential parcels to the south. The proposal also addresses P&Z's desire for adjacent infill development. 2, the significant reduction in traffic at either side of the subdivision mitigates substantially the well-founded traffic concerns that were voiced during the P&Z hearing, speed, terrain changes, etc. 3, cost of the overall development will be reduced by eliminating the need to undertake special wetland mitigation efforts to deal with the South Fork and its immediate surrounding area. 4, preservation of a buffer zone surrounding the South Fork will maintain a wildlife habitat and create an exceptional natural parkland common to all the residences in the subdivision. There will be no need to create additional parkland. And 5, this proposed subdivision, if altered as above, will be much more in keeping with the value and character of the existing residences along this swale drainage corridor. I'd like to point out on the petition sheets that we submitted, we have 79 signatures. I think that's a pretty good amount from the surrounding neighborhoods. And I'd like to ask all in attendance that support this proposal to please stand up and show their support. Yeah, thank you very much. Also, I have a letter here from Jim Prawl also, if time will allow. Okay. Can I come back?
Somebody else wants to present it, they may do so with their 3 minutes.
And Jim's supposed to be here by 8, so he might make it. But it's very important regarding this whole subdivision because he's the next property owner where Landy Lane dead ends to the east. And when that letter's read, you'll understand how that ties into all this. So in closing, I would ask that a final decision not be made tonight on this proposal. We would like to have some more time for all involved parties to be able to consider the new proposal. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Morton.
A question.
Yes, come back.
If I may, please. This is the South Fork of the what?
I think it was right. Paradise Creek.
South Fork of Paradise Creek. And I guess I'm a little confused. I don't see that appearing in Bill Voxman's letter. Did you say that it was?
There's a diagram. It's basically right where Picabu Road is where the swale is, where the South Fork is.
My question is, are you tying this to Bill Voxman's letter?
Yes, yes.
March 1st letter.
Yes.
Okay, I don't see it in Voxman's.
Bachman, March 1st letter from Bachman.
The March 1st one.
Yes, yes, it's in there.
Page 134 of the packet.
Okay. Okay, I'm in a different letter, apparently, of Bill's. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, further public testimony in opposition.
Council, my name is Michael Ratchford. I live at 1106 Slonaker Drive. Couple things that I would like to point out. If I could use this laser pointer. There we go. This area here is the proposed catchment basin and park. I have walked all of this yesterday again. This is a natural drainage going right through here where the city has proposed this Picabu Street. There's a lot of water that moves down through this area in the late fall, through the winter, and through the spring. And it's very interesting from an in my opinion, problematic from an engineering standpoint of how you're going to run a road straight through this natural drainage. And the engineering's own drawings show the contours show a high here and a high here. On a more relevant note to the property owners in the Orchard area and in the Blackwood area, we would like to maintain the integrity of those neighborhoods without having connectors, ripping right through them. And the area, I'm glad to see Mr. Prowl show up here. He's been developing this area over here, and I'm not going to speak for him, but as more of a conservation area on his property where the city has long-term plans of extending this connector, landing road connector to the east. I would like to suggest as an alternative of moving further to the north and using Trail Road as a way of connecting the area from Orchard all the way over to Mountain View, and leave these areas intact. And as Brian Morton just discussed here, having an alternative in here of maybe one big cul-de-sac or two cul-de-sacs, and then keeping these areas with the integrity of these neighborhoods the way they are, so we don't have these connectors running right through them. We have a lot of small children in these neighborhoods, and we just really feel that we're going to lose property value and just lose the whole integrity of the neighborhood. That's the reason why I bought in Blackwood, is because it didn't have through streets cutting right through it. So I think there's engineering issues here with water, and but our main point is we would like to see an alternative to a connector going right through these two neighborhoods, Orchard and Blackwood, because we have a road right up here in space, Trail Road, that could be used for long-term development for the city's use to connect Orchard over to Mountain View.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ratchford. Anyone have
Questions?
anything? Okay, thank you. Further public testimony in opposition? So you weren't here for this part, but name and address, please.
Jim Prawl, rural Moscow, 1091 Yeoman's Lane. It's funny I forgot that Walter was still on your city council, and Walter's the one that said years ago, you need to get this designated ring road, and nobody wanted to hear about it, and here we are again, because I'm just going to read my letter and I won't say any more. We live in Latah County with a quarter-mile of our 8 acres adjacent to the city of Moscow, parallel to Slonaker Drive, with Lanny Lane butting up against the middle of our 5.1 acres of dedicated forest in bare land and yield tax classification. We have no intention of allowing Lanny Lane to be extended across or along our land, as we stated when the Slonaker addition was platted. A 4-generation family on Yeoman's Lane directly across from us is of the same mind. We are part of 9 contiguous parcels north of Mountain View Road, extending east to the Trail Family Trust Land, with owner-occupied family homes that wish to remain in the county. We do support the activities of the neighbors who have combined forces to explain to P&Z why this contractor, developer, city bureaucracy proposed new plat is not desirable for the residents of northeast Moscow. From our standpoint, Mountain View Road at Slonaker Drive will need widening with bicycle pedestrian paths to be a safe road through the county to handle the traffic to the proposed Logo School and the continued sports activity at Mountain View Park. Any increased traffic on or off of Slonaker, if it is considered a shortcut to Orchard Avenue, will create several unsafe intersections. Finally, as previously publicly stated, we would support a walking bicycle path crossing our land from Lanny Lane to Yeoman's Lane, hoping it would inspire a safe route to connect to Mountain View Park. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any questions? Okay, thank you, Mr. Burrow. Oh, you guys are catching on. Thank you.
Alan Rose, I live at 1114 Highland Drive, 2 houses from where this intersection is going to be with this new road cutting across. And like many of my neighbors, I'm really worried about the integrity. We've got a very nice, quiet, calm neighborhood. One of our major problems is when we come out of Highland Drive and look to the left, we can't see what's coming over the hills there. And I think I mentioned this, the Planning and Zoning Commission, and was told that the city had conducted an inquiry and the department had concluded that it was safe to drive at 30 miles an hour coming up from the north to the south on Orchard. I really query that. I don't have any engineering background, but I know that when I come out of Highland Drive and look to the left and see cars coming down at 30 miles an hour, which I can't see actually, and there's going to be an increase in traffic clearly with the proposed development. The idea that Bill Voxman had, I think, of the cul-de-sac on both sides instead of having a through street appeals to me, certainly because it would be a quieter neighborhood. We won't have people cutting through, but also from the safety factor, because though we'll still have more cars, there'll be less than with the proposal that you have here. So I think, in terms of safety, if there's a chance that it will be safer, I would urge the City Council to consider this alternative. And while at the moment, as I understand it, we have a very rough kind of sketch of Bill Voxman's idea, what we're asking for is time to develop that into a document where you can see much more clearly the proposal. And I think that would be a good idea for the Council to consider. Give us a little time to develop a more professional kind of document that will give you and the city staff an idea of what we're proposing, and then be able to sum up the 2 proposals. Thank you.
You're welcome. Questions? Okay, thank you, Mr. Rose.